Welcome back, and now let's take you through the newspapers and share with you the major stories making headlines across Nigeria this morning. We're joined by Sesan Okunade, who, of course, will be analyzing some of these stories with us. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Good morning, Olive. Good morning to all our listeners.
All right. Let's get into it. And, of course, kick off this morning on the Punch newspapers, I believe. Yes, it says the NNPC reports 9.3 trillion naira petrol imports as queues linger. Petrol subsidy gulps 3.3 trillion naira. NNPC incurs 1.8 trillion naira energy security cost. And also speaks on Port Harcourt. Worry depots receive PMS. Task force arrest black marketers. Also on the Punch newspapers this morning, it says that Akume Edun lead local government autonomy implementation panel. Domestic airlines ground 42 aircraft, and that's in forex shortage. Producers decline sale of 460,000 barrels per day crude to Dangote and others. That, drama there seems to, of course, be unending. We can also find this morning on the Punch newspaper, 2027 APC kicks as PDP backs call for Jonathan's return. One dies as Ogun hunters and herders clash. And I think those are the major ones that we can find on the Punch newspapers this morning. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next paper this morning. The next big paper is the Vanguard newspaper. On the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, police invitation to Ajero. We won't be silent, says NLC. Directs workers to shut down economy if Ajero is arrested as global workers groups, TSOs and others raise alarm over worsening rights abuses in Nigeria. Why Ajero turned down police invitation, according to Falana, they of course said it was too last minute and they asked for a later date and they say they can only honor the invitation on the 29th of August. Right-of-way tussle threatens Nigeria's telecom sector. Diaspora remittances rise 130% to $553 million in July, CBN. Police again fail to arraign protesters, says activist Adeyonju. Cost of governance will cut 10 billion naira from COP29 expenses, says presidency. Hopefully, they won't have a long list that will come under fire this year. 3 years on the throne, the hardest lesson I learned, according to the Olu of Worry. I think the final story, PFN to Tinubu, Nigerians are hungry. Hasten renewed hope agenda. That's all on the Vanguard. Let's get into the big story. Police invitation to Ajero. We won't be silent, says NLC. But yes, the Nigerian Tribune. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, NLC's 54 affiliate unions threaten mass action if ellipsis. Of course, we know what that mass action is, or what the condition of the mass action is. It's the arrest of Joe Ajero, the arrest and detainment of Joe Ajero. CBN records all-time high remittance inflows of $553 million in July. 21-year-old undergraduate contracted to act as girlfriend killed by ritualist in Kwara. Wow. Lekki Community's family give Lagos government 30-day ultimatum over land acquisition. Fubara denies plan to dump PDP. Wike must go for PDP to survive, Clark tells Damagom in open letter. 5 years after trial, AGF office has no record of ex-CGN Omogan's CCT case file. Appeal court upholds judgment nullifying Shaibu's impeachment as Edo deputy governor. U.S. announces $27 million humanitarian aid for Nigeria. Akume Edun Kadozo Fagbemi, 6 orders to enforce Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy. Ondo establishes Amotekun Rangers to curb forest crime. Ododo appoints 1,102 aides. Nigeria. Enugu government set to demolish property used for kidnapping. Let's start with the NLC conversation. Amnesty International has accused the accused the federal government of meddling with the affairs or trying to suppress the Nigerian workers. What are your thoughts on the drama between the police and Ajero?
Yeah, the drama between police and Ajero, to me, it's crystal clear in the sense that there was a report from the police that there is a particular tenant to NLC, which they are on the second floor, and they have intelligence information about some of his activities that led to let me use the word of the PRO to say coordinated visit to that second floor, that they didn't come to NLC themselves. But on picking some of the documents from that particular area, They have some questioning for the NLC president. You see, we are preempting a lot of things. We are the same set of people that will come out that police are not doing their job. They came to the second floor, but there is a gap, which I am blaming the police from. We seem to be inviting the people that we consider as party to this issue on ground, but we have not heard anything about the main culprit, the man who occupied the second floor, either from NLC declaring his identity or even the police themselves. Even if you're not going to give us stories surrounding it, you said that the man is terrorist financer, a threat to the country, a threat to Africa, a threat to the world at large. But who is this person? Up till now, we've not heard, but you are inviting someone in that particular, who is the landlord, coming to speak on behalf, because the document you have shows certain transaction between them and the other. But we want a situation where the first person will actually be invited, question, and let's see there is a link, even without that document. What if those documents are actually just framed up somewhere and has no implication on the NLC? We want a situation where that person will be first invited, question, and let's see the traces to the other party. And the issue of NLC, you know, riding on this to say they want to shut down the economy if their president is actually arrested, I think it's an abuse of office, if you ask me, because the same way they are communicating to the police that Mr. President of NLC will not be available is to say there are plans they have had before now, because the invitation seems to be impromptu. Same of every businessman. The last time they shut down the system, a lot of businesses were actually down. People scheduled their meeting to travel out of the country, even within the country, domestic airline. They are unable to fulfill it. And it impacted greatly on some of the businesses that they had to carry for that particular time. Up till now, most airlines have not been able to refund even those that could not meet those trips for that specific day. So they should not abuse the privilege, you know, entrusted in their hands on the part of the citizen or the workers by saying that if their president is arrested, they will shut down the system. No, that's not the plight. Remember the end bad governance protest. They were not involved because they felt that, well, that is not a route to go. So we want a situation that they will just stick with it, let the president show up himself, present. He has a legal counsel that will be there, and I'm sure he will not be there alone, rather than shutting down the old system for what is not.
It's simply because we run or seem to run an abnormal system where nobody trusts that the justice system will be free and fair.
Yeah, we all know that.
The reason is, I apologize, we need to take a call, but the reason is, if we had a system where Joe Ajaero simply needs to show up with his lawyer, listen to whatever charge there is, maybe be granted bail or taken to court granted bail, you know, if there is a case against him. I mean, if that was the case, you know, then we'll have a problem. The problem that they have is they feel like it's going to happen just like Nnamdi Kanu and previous cases where you go there and you won't come out for a couple of days or maybe weeks.
All right.
Elder David, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, ma'am. With due respect to Ajaero, the Nigerian Labour Congress chairman, if I were him, I will go and report to the police. As a highly respected Nigerian Labour Congress president, if I were him, I go and report. When Oshimole was arrested during his time, when police come call him, he go and report. Even like they detain him, we know what happened. I expected him to go and report. They should not allow lawyers to deceive him, because the case in issue concerns the nation's security. And as a landlord or somebody was arrested there, it's in the law. When an armed robber is arrested in a house, the landlord must show cause. Why does he know the identity of that person? So that is my idea. That's why I don't state. The Shabu have been declared as the deputy governor. I come on the 20th. Yes, that's 21st of September, by grace of God. God will give his own judgment. Let the man who is there today respect the law. Let him respect the law. That is what Pastor should respect the law. Because in the front, in the back, in the right, in the left, everybody is an enemy to him, including two people. May God bless Nigeria. May God bless all of you here.
Thank you very much.
Allow me to make my conclusion. That is my conclusion. Nigeria will continue to remain as one. We should give this government just a little chance. It will be better for all of us. Within the next
all right, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Father David.
We turn against those people who are using them. Thank you very much.
It's very interesting. Still looking at the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. The other stories there. Ododo appoints 1,102 aides. You know, these are the current leaders that we have.
It's the best time to be in Kogi. If you're a Kogi guy and you are not a part of this appointee, you ask yourself, what are you struggling and doing in outside your states? This is why you must be there to make it. But it's to tell you how insensitive these are leaders are. 1,102 aides. We are not talking of although by the time you look at some of the portfolios that will be given to those people, it will shock you tomorrow. And these are taxpayers' money. Will come up to tell us that the funds being allocated to the state are not, rather than appointing them. Why don't you set up organization where people can work and make ends meet, be productive in your state? Kogi is blessed with industries, so all the money you are getting, you are just giving to a very few. Because these few aides that will be appointed now, we have access to running costs.
1,102.
It's still few now.
Just a handful.
It's just a handful. There are not many.
I get you.
There are not many. You know, by the time we start, if a governor is having 1,000 aides, imagine what will become of a president of a nation. If such person is now made the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, that means you have 1,000.
Just to give you a breakdown, we have on the list 574 ward special assistants, 290 local government special assistants. Then there are 165 senior special assistants, 36 special assistants, and I think those are the ones that we have for now. So just to say that there are 1,102 additional fresh aides. I believe that there were already aides. He hasn't been running his office. So kudos to Governor Ahmed Ododo of Kogi State for
reducing the unemployment
rate for young people. State. You know, he's making job available to the young Nigerian people.
I start to tell you that is a wrong. That's a wrong way of doing it. It's not releasing any unemployment on the road. It's actually creating more poverty in that particular state, if there is anything to go by. Getting those aid, is he trying to tell us that he's actually doing grassroots politics? These are people that actually work for him to become. That's not the way to go. Empower the people there and let those at the grassroots, local government, ward, feel the impact of governance. Not a very few that will just be there as aides. So as aides now, are you aware that if you are special assistant, there is special assistant to the special assistant, and there will be special assistant to the special assistant?
I know what it just shows us. It shows us in a way how politics in Nigeria is being run, when individuals are not really campaigning for people, for their candidates, because they believe in their manifesto.
They believe in what so they are going to get.
When this person gets into office, what SA role am I going to get? So at the end of the day, this is indicative of how politics in Nigeria.
That's the way it's been run. We are just seeing Ododo coming with this figure. Same is applicable, you know, with some other states where you see special assistants on domestic, special assistant on newspaper, special assistant. It's quite interesting, but I don't think this is the right. If you continue like this.
Anyway, just to keep in mind that Kogi State, you know, is where former Governor Yahya Bello, you know, of course, you know, was a governor of.
And the eagle is still nowhere to be
exactly.
The young man.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Go ahead.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
Please, I want to talk about the presidential jet that they just unveiled. This Nigeria is just a joke of a country. If it was in the same world, everybody in that government would have been arrested. Remember when this thing came up, people in this government denied it. Now they've got this thing without telling anybody who approved this thing, who assigned this thing, who did this, who did that. Imagine in US, Joe Biden just wake up one morning and they say they bought a presidential jet. Imagine what would have happened in the US. Even in this, our South Africa, our backyard, our African country here. So Nigeria is just a joke of the country. I don't know whether we have legislators. Those guys, the 109 and plus 360, they are just a joke of the people. What are we doing in the country? What are we running the country, or are we just sitting down and just watching people? Because what I can say is that the legislator, they are in the pockets of the executives. That's what it is. We can't say anything. So they are just running the government as they like, as they can run their own family. You know, a father can just go and buy a car without telling the wife or telling the children. They will just see. So they're just running as a family. That's just what I want to say. It's a joke. It's a pity that we find ourselves in this part of the world.
All right, Lennon. All right, thanks a lot. You know, and you know, he has legitimate reasons for feeling that way, because you would expect that when there is a situation like this, then maybe it would be a National Assembly discussion. You know, somebody should be summoned to answer these questions.
Maybe the comfort of Mr. President is the comfort of every citizen. So Mr. President needs to enjoy the best so that he can concentrate and think right, so that the citizen can be. We are sincerely
He needs
joking.
to come and queue on Amadou Bello.
This I've not had fuel in the last 3 days because I cannot spend productive hours. NNPC filling station that I know of in this Lagos, let them come and point out. None is selling fuel.
Well, you go to the Punch this morning reported NNPC 9.3 trillion naira imports.
They imported. Are they available on the street? I came here this morning with my fuel, you know, showing red, just to make sure that I get to the studio.
You have to understand, it's mother-daughter vessel issues, you know.
For them today, they should know the implication of this on businesses. You see, it's not only to fuel your vehicle. Are you aware that you still use the same fuel to power your generator when those things are not? So you invite your staff to office and there are no generators because there is no fuel and they are not going to work. Will you at the end of the month say, guys, we are unable to work and I won't pay salary, or you owe them their salary? There are more to all these things that we're looking at. You are frustrating the domestic refinery of functioning by not providing that we are supposed to provide, and you want the country to grow. I don't understand. We keep announcing this import. Talking about 9.3 trillion. Not for 10 years, we are talking of just import that you're bringing in. Imagine you taking that off and having it domestically, you know, processed. What value that would have given to you?
Even though there are still allegations of them paying subsidy, but they say it's shortfalls.
No, what I hear is, you see, we like using semantics to, no, subsidy is gone. Shortfall has come. So there's a difference between shortfall and subsidy. You know, English, those of us that didn't go to school, we still asking ourselves, subsidy is gone, but shortfall has been introduced. When you say that the landing cost is about 1,200, but you are selling at less than 600 naira. So that shortfall is not subsidy. So what's the definition of subsidy? Is it not? So very soon when we leave the issue of shortfall, we'll talk to augmenting cost. You know, you are augmenting for that particular thing. We should come off all this and let Nigeria know the true picture of what actually is happening for us to know where to go.
Yeah,
businesses are bleeding.
At some point, just merge both words and call it short CD. Good morning, Harry.
Good morning.
Good morning, welcome. Go ahead.
Harry, please go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. Please, I want to talk about the issue of the NLC and the president who was invited by the police. Now, I want to say this. I find it very absurd, the NLC as a group threatening Nigerians with strike because the police invited their president. I find it very sickening this morning. The police has the right to invite anybody, no matter who the person is. They have that right. Okay? The NLC should go to the police and clear their name. They should stop threatening Nigeria. Yeah. Nobody is bigger than the country. I find it very sickening. But while doing that, the police should please stick to the rule of law and give him fair hearing. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And please, the second issue also about the new presidential jet. We're in a country where we're complaining that there's no revenue. We have issue of revenue. You're telling the people to tighten their belt. And the president is buying a new jet. The president is buying a new jet, a bigger one for that matter. You're complaining, America Air Force One is 34 years old, The one that you're dumping now is 19-year-old, and you're buying a jet of 15-year-old. So in the next 4 years, is the president going to sell to buy another one? You know, you have to, as a leader, you have to lead by example. And how did the procurement process of this jet take place? We didn't hear anything. Is it captured on the budget? The National Assembly, led by Senator Gospel Ababio, should stand up to Nigerians. Nigerians elected him there, and not the president. He's the president of the Senate, Nigerian Senate.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Henry.
I mean, I agree with points that he made. You know, we can't pick and choose who the police should invite, you know, or not invite. If there is a case against anybody in the NLC building, then they should be invited. You know what, like I pointed out before, is what we're seeing is just a lack of faith in the criminal justice system. Because if we know that we can simply show up.
Yeah, we understand that. But irrespective of it, make yourself available. If you are detained, we can't compare Kano and NLC president. The presidency to understand that. Because the lieutenant will come out. They don't need their president to act. If they must do, the executive committee of NLC are there. If they consider that their leaders are actually detained unjustly. But what I'm saying is that he should make himself available. If he's not going to be available today, as said by the lawyer, provide your reasons to them, but show up and don't threaten. Nigerians are not ready for strike because we don't go for strike for non-functioning of refinery. We don't go to strike for non-availability of foodstuff and the likes and high cost of living. All we are going out for is because they are holding the president down, who is actually, my personal view, spending some of the resources of the labor workers to travel around there. The last time that he was ill, did he have his medical treatment in Nigeria? The answer is no. He was flown to Switzerland. So we should come out of this. Nigerians are not prepared for this issue of them going on strike because they should go there, present their case. If he's going to be detained, there should be explanation to it. I'm sure the president knows the sensitivity of his position, even to the economy, and they will not act something that is illegal.
Very true. And, you know, I think on the Nigerian Tribune this morning, you know, from the producers, I think this should be from Zebejiro Productions, the producers of the movie Ponde has fainted in hearing, the producers of the movie Snake swallowed 36 million, the producers of the hit movie 70 million naira stolen by monkeys. We have, of course, yet another blockbuster production. 5 years after trial, AGF office has no record of XCJ and Onogan's CCT case file. Also, the producers of the very fascinating movie where Ganduje's court case, you know, of course, were stolen by bad governance protesters.
All right. Before you react to that, let's take this call from Adams from Taraba.
I love Zebejiro.
Good morning, Adams.
Oh, we lost it.
That's gone.
But anyway, Zebejiro Productions once again. What £1 road, Abba? And
52 Weka
road. Okay, great.
You see, it's quite interesting the way Amanda you read some of these headlines, and you ask yourself, what is the future? What is the hope of common man? When issues happen to a common man, the files are always intact. When it has to do with the high and mighty, it's either the building is set ablaze and taxpayers' money are used to rebuild it.
Very convenient.
Or you discover that those things are missing in action and nobody will be punished. That's the major problem we have. When issues happen, those movies that you just made mention of, those that are surrounding the stories, that acted the scripts, they are still in power today. And that's what emboldens people. And that's what we keep saying. If there are no consequences for wrongdoing, all you'll be doing is that you'll be recruiting more people into that industry of acting that script because they have a precedent of somebody that has done that. What has happened to him? In fact, some of the people that acted some of the movies we've mentioned were actually being elevated. And what you consider is that if you elevate such person, you are saying that you have done a good job. The rest of you behind, you can see a precedent and somebody who has acted well to continue until we are intentional, serious about issues like this to punish people that are around that area. Not just the fries that are under, but those that are at the top of the game to make sure that they actually receive the punishment. How can you be saying that the files that are available are no longer can be traceable?
All right.
And that's why we are asking, make some of these things digitalized and save it in the cloud. I hope that they will
right.
not go to the cloud. and
Sesan
hijack them.
Okunade, thank you for joining us to review the newspapers this morning.